Hello and welcome back to Rally Point. We've got a special on today because we are going to be looking at the Vampire Coast roster for Total War Warhammer 2 Curse of the Vampire Coast, and for this monumental occasion I'm joined by two men of myth and legend.
Hello.
Two pirates.
Hi,
how are you doing? Would you like to introduce yourselves?
Not bad.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I'm Gary, and I'm an associate designer on Total War Warhammer 2.
And you work mainly in the battle areas?
Yes,
so
principally in battles.
Yeah, good person to have on.
Yeah.
It's almost like we thought about this beforehand.
You'd hope so, yeah.
And you are joined by?
Yeah, Danny. My name's Danny. I'm a character artist on the Warhammer team.
And what does that entail mainly?
Well, making characters for the game.
Nice.
So yeah, pretty much. It's pretty good. So I can talk about all the cool new units we've got on show today. Yeah.
Yeah. So we've got. We're going to be splitting this up into 4 sections, one for each legendary lord, which you'll be able to play as in Curse of the Vampire Coast. So Loofah Hakan is going to be up first. He's going to be showing us all of our infantry. Next up, we're going to have Count Nonculus showing us all of the monsters under our control. We'll have Solostradiophon showing us all of the artillery units, and then Aranessa is going to be just at the bottom, just showing that unique unit that only she can field as well, which is going to be very interesting. But we'll get to that in a second. So first of all, for anyone who's tuning in and doesn't know, Gary, what is the Vampire Coast?
The Vampire Coast is... What it is a massive grouping of guns. It's a massive grouping of guns, just beyond any other roster. This is a gunpowder faction. Even beyond the dwarfs, the Empire, these guys rely on their guns to get the dirty work done. And in between you and those guns are fodder, just endless fodder, endless speed bumps, tar pits, anything you can think of that will just slow you down, bog you down, and then just leave you vulnerable to gunpowder weapons.
Nice. So, so how are they going to be playing on the battlefield? What kind of systems are you going to have to work with?
They're very slow and very purposeful, but the thing that you've got to really beware of for the Vampire Coast is their main sort of like factional trait, the extra powder ability. So essentially, when you're approaching a Vampire Coast line, their first few shots will be more damaging than the subsequent shots. So when you're like charging in with your Reiksguard, or you're sort of flying over with your flyers, you will take substantially more damage on the approach. So it's a case of like you've got to really plan out your approach to the Vampire Coast, bait them out, try and get behind them, and not just charge straight into their sort of firepower.
Because you could see a hell of a lot of damage coming in.
Exactly.
Okay, so we're just going to be setting up a few battles in the background. Whilst we're waiting for that, Danny, as we've got you here, what is the sort of visual aesthetic that we're going to be expecting for this?
So for the Vampire Coast, we really want to differentiate them from the vampires of Sylvania. And so in the lore, and what little lore there is for the Vampire Coast, they're much more feral and they're much more weathered than the sort of traditional sort of regal vampire counts. And so we really tried to push that in the details for the characters. Obviously, we wanted to create a vampiric and pirate fusion kind of aesthetic, and sort of use visual cues that are familiar. So you'll recognize sort of aesthetics from the characters that are, borrowed from the vampire counts, but they've been sort of given a new lease of life with all the sort of vampiric and sort of piratey things we brought to them.
Cool. So,
but yeah.
The first lord we're going to be looking at is Loofah Hakan. So a little paragraph of text that I've pre-prepared here just to give you a feel for them. For centuries, Arch Grand Commodore Loofah Hakan has ruled a stretch of Lustrian shore known as the Vampire Coast. While assaulting a hidden chamber, powerful glyphs rebounded Hakon's sorcery, shattering his mind into many warring personalities and severing him from the winds of magic. Hakon's multiple identities now battle for dominance, but they have one common goal: to plunder the sacred places of the Lizardmen and use the power of their Slann artifacts to break the curse and heal his damaged mind. So here you can see Loofah looking very jaunty, which I love about him. He has quite a few different animations which he'll go through in his idle position.
Yeah, the animation team did a great job with him, sort of just trying to sort of show off that sense of regality and just insanity at the same time.
There's one pose that he does, and I hope that we push into it, where he just sort of bends over sideways. Full zombie mode, which is fantastic. So, playing with Loofah Hakan, what are the sort of key things that you're going to be using him to specialise in?
Well, Loofah Hakan, little known fact, he's of the Blood Dragon sort of dynasty of vampires, so he is very martially orientated. He is flawless duelist, but also he has the capacity to do damage at range. He's got a pistol, so he's able to fire that whilst moving. He's able to sort of harass, and before engaging with his rapier. So
there he is. There he goes.
Yeah, he's been cut off from the winds of magic, so he really is that sort of hybrid ranged and melee lord.
Okay, interesting. So you can see that he's very flamboyant, but he's got, as you said, some of those
vampiric elements.
vampiric elements.
Yeah.
Those horns coming out the back.
Very
You can see
reminiscent
on
of
the armor behind us.
Von Karstein. But yeah, again, you know, he looks like a pirate. But we've given him that new lease of life, really. And yeah, the character artists who made him has just done a fantastic job at sort of, again, making him look both vampiric but also pirate.
So we're going to be looking at the sort of backbone of your army here with some of the zombie units that we have. So the infantry for the Vampire Coast, not necessarily the strongest, but it's the range power that they can bring with them. So
saying that, I mean, like comparing them to the zombies of the Von Karsteins of the sort of Sylvanian factions, their zombies are more capable in combat. They're equipped with two very large cutlasses, so they might not do the most damage, they might not be the most skillful, but they will do some damage compared to your run-of-the-mill zombies with their like pitchforks and their spades and stuff. So they're better equipped, basically, would be the word.
So the first like bog standard unit that we're going to be looking at is the zombie deckhands mob. So these guys are basically, as you said, cannon fodder. They only exist to soak up damage, right?
Yes.
So so these guys come in two variants. You've got the standard and you've got the polearm variant.
Yes.
So they're a little bit stronger than the standard zombies?
Yeah, they're, as I said, better equipped, just able to deal with some more situations. Obviously nowhere near as skillful as, like, say, Empire State Troops or Chaos Marauders, but yes, they're able to deal with cavalry charges, deal with monsters with their polearms, but then also have these just like cannon fodder units that they can throw in against anything else that they want to bog down with the two cutlasses.
Yeah, so you can see you get quite a large group of them. They're very, very spread out, so quite difficult to get through.
Exactly.
They can eat up a lot of the mass of your charge, and as we said, we've got the polearm variant there for a little bit of an anti-large bonus as well.
Armor piercing as well, so they're quite all well-rounded. Not very skillful with it, but you can't ignore them at the same time.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Interesting that they get armor piercing, just for a little bit of extra damage.
Exactly.
Come in.
Exactly.
So behind the zombie deckhands mob, you're going to be looking at your zombie gunnery mobs. So these guys are a little bit more useful in the battlefield.
We really wanted to sort of specialise the sort of gunnery mobs more so than we have done with other factions. With the pistol variant, for instance, they aren't armor piercing, but they have the ability to fire whilst moving. Not in all directions, only forward because they're zombies. But this utility allows them to sort of chase down enemy range units while still pouring fire on them as they run away. Or just get those few shots off before they go into melee.
So we're looking at the handgunner variant here. So these guys are the armor piercing, a bit more like your standard Empire handgunners, but a lot less accurate.
Yeah, they couldn't hit the broadside of a barn for sure. But there are a few abilities within the roster which can augment this. So if you're a skillful player and you sort of combine these together, you can get a reasonable degree of accuracy. But yeah, if there's just numbers basically. So you might be poor at hitting, but when there's like hundreds of them, you're gonna land some hits and deal some damage, and they do pierce armor. So even if you're a right scarred knight charging in, you've got to beware of these guys for sure.
Yeah, and we're going to see one of the sort of strong visual elements that we'll see throughout the roster, which is just barnacles everywhere.
Yeah, we really drove that one home. Yeah, everyone's got barnacles on them. Yeah, they look great. Look fantastic. Really trying to sell the idea that they've been at sea for maybe hundreds of years. Maybe it could have been corpses that drowned and have been risen by the vampire lords to do their bidding. But yeah, really good, just really driving home those details. Seaweed, barnacles. Some of them even have starfish on their eyes.
Nice.
Sort of just different types of deep sea flora and fauna growing on them. And yeah, even the guns, as you can see, they're just covered in barnacles. But yeah, we had a lot of fun making these guys.
Literally everything is dripping wet as well.
Yeah, they've
literally just been dredged out of the ocean.
So we actually made a new shader. One of the artists made a new shader for the game. It's a slime shader, so that very, very subtly you'll see just sort of water flowing and sort of caressing over the units, and it makes them just look drippy and wet. And disgusting, but yeah, we've done. I think we've done a pretty good job at making them look as disgusting as possible.
So there's two extra units of zombies that we're going to have as well under our control. So these guys are a little bit more specialised. We've got the zombie pirate gunnery mobs with bombs and with hand cannons.
Yes, these are your more specialized variants. You wouldn't normally take like a line of these guys. You would probably take 1 or 2 of these units just to use as utility. But the hand cannon is essentially a gigantic shotgun.
Yeah.
A unit of them. So they've got quite short range, but they've got they just fire a screen of projectiles and they hit with a huge amount of mass. So again, it's about keeping the enemy away from your line for as long as possible. So say that you want to get another volley off, you would put these guys in front, they would just break up a charge, sort of slow them down, knock people over, and just allow your other handgunners time to lay in more volleys before the charge hits home. So it's all about delaying tactics, essentially, with this unit.
And you've got those bomber units as well,
Yes.
kind of acting like the blasting charges, I guess?
When you combine bombs with expendable units, it usually has good results.
Yeah.
So, if you've got Chaos Warriors versus, say, deckhands, and you have some bombers behind them, you do not care about the deckhands. You will, the deckhands. And if you're throwing bombs in, so you kill maybe 1 or 2 per bomb, you don't care. You'll just resurrect them.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Kill the Chaos Warriors.
Yeah. And I'm loving, so these are the
handguns.
The handguns here, and you can see they are just like massive blunderbusses.
The animators have done a good job with these guys as well. Whenever they fire, they just spin around and lose control.
Yeah, really selling the sort of physicality of the weapon.
Weight,
yeah. They're fantastic.
You can see they're absolutely...
The guns are as big as they are, pretty much.
Yes.
Yeah, they really are.
They are massive.
Yeah, no, they are.
It's almost like a miniature cannon.
Yeah,
like,
they're
I know hand cannon is the name, but it does literally look like they've been ripped off a ship.
They've literally been ripped. Yeah, they put these on the sort of like the sort of
swivels.
The sort of swivel mounts on ships to sort of clear decks. So that's what these guys are for, basically.
Nice. Right, so with each lord, we're going to be showing off one of the heroes as well. And the first hero that we're going to be showing off is the Vampire Fleet Captain. So this is kind of like the second in command to your legendary lord.
Your first mate, basically.
Yeah, and these guys actually are able to cast magic as well.
Yes, that's their primary purpose. They're a spellcasting platform. They'll come with access to Lord of Vampires, Lord of Deeps, and so on. And yeah, they're fairly good in melee, but what you want them for is that extra magic to bring to the table. That's particularly useful if you're bringing Hakan, because again, he's severed from the Winds of Magic, so this hero will really fill that gap and give you access to all sorts of spells.
And it's nice to have a caster who can hold out a little bit in combat as well.
Yeah, exactly. You can mount her on top of a Promethean as well, like one of the large crab units.
Which
so
we will be seeing at some
point,
point, don't worry.
Of course. But very heavily armoured and mobile as well. So yeah, she's a very decent platform.
You can see some of the swagging clothes that they'll bring onto the battlefield.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. And you'll see, and you'll probably notice when we sort of zoom in here, she's less barnacled and sort of less, she's showing off less of the sort of flora and fauna details that we've utilised for the zombies. To kind of show she's a bit more important, and she kind of looks after herself a bit more. But still quite weathered, tatted clothes. Probably a very old vampire as well. Has been undead for quite some time. But she, again, she just looks great.
Yeah, I suppose you can see that clear definition between the sort of like almost classes.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. There's
Yeah.
definitely a pecking order in there somewhere, right? But yeah, they just look fantastic. Bringing those again vampiric elements like bat wings on the shoulder pads with the pauldrons, and then the tricorn, and then the sort of duster coat. Very piratey.
Very nice. All right, so we're going to be moving on to our sort of next subsection of the army now. The next one is going to be Count Noctilus. So Count Noctilus is a bit of a baddie in the in the world. Yeah, he not just a vampire, but even other vampires seem to hate him.
He's a bad egg.
Yeah,
he's a bad egg, all things considered.
And it's quite interesting from a campaign standpoint because he's going to have a completely new region slap bang in the middle of the sea as well.
Yeah. We added.
Sorry, I've actually missed out a couple of units here. We've got the Dev Guard, and
God.
we were literally talking about them at the start of the stream. I think that's why we assumed that we talked about them. Yeah, so the Depth Guard come in 2 variants. So these are quite a specialist unit as well.
Yes. When we were designing this roster, essentially what, as a design team, we were trying to avoid was having a unit which you could just have as a heavy infantry main line. We wanted them to be more focused on sort of like quick punching assaults. So these guys won't form your line because they're not as efficient in that role, but they will be able to sort of like supplement your meat shields and sort of hit where they're needed and sort of deal with those more armored threats.
They're quite a small model number as well, aren't they?
Yeah, they're very small. They're even smaller than Chosen at this point, so they're very small, very elite though.
Yeah.
Extremely elite. They come in two variants, one with dual axes and the other with the halberd, as you can see
Yes,
here.
this is the polearm variant here,
Yes.
and they are
Yeah,
looking
boy.
fantastic.
I made them. Yay! they're my babies for this DLC.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun making them. I think actually going back to what we're saying about Noctilus, I think I might be wrong, but in the lore these are Noctilus's elites, elite guard.
He does get buffs and bonuses to the depth guard in the campaign.
Yes,
so
yes,
definitely aligned with him.
yeah. But yeah, again, going back to what we're talking about is making them look vampiric, borrowing visual cues from the vampire counts. You can see they both look at home against Noctilus with his color scheme, but also there are sort of vampiric elements like the bat wings and such. And really trying to sort of make them seem at home in the Warhammer universe.
They've got his
His insignia, yeah, they do, yeah, on his
loincloth,
on their wee loincloth there, yeah. No, they're great. I love them. They were a lot of fun to make for the DLC.
I feel like we need to replace the Manfred armor with that armor.
Yeah,
Dude,
if we can get that, then I'll wear it. I'll wear it on
back
stream
on
if we
stream,
can
wear
get
it.
Just to work.
just to work like at my desk, like in a depth guard, full ensemble.
Helmet and all.
Yeah, no, for sure. No, but they were a lot of fun. But yeah,
So you're going to be planting these guys in your line, sort of in pockets of zombies, trying to
Yes.
maximize the amount of damage you get.
Embedding them within units of fodder is a very good tactic, I would say. The vampire counts do that to an extent, but these guys are way above anything that the vampire counts can bring to the table, because they are not wights, they are vampires. They are actual,
they're elites,
sentient
Yeah.
creatures. So you would utilize these guys to create hard points in your line.
Nice. All right, so now we will actually give Guy a chance to move over to the next army. The next subsection of the army we're going to be talking about is Count Noctilus, and with him he's going to bring all of our monstrous units as well. So, have we missed another one? We've missed another one. This is a monstrous unit, isn't it? Technically, it's kind of infantry. It's kind of infantry. It's monstrous infantry.
Supernatural infantry.
It's a ghost, right?
it
These
ghost a
are the
monster?
Sirens.
The Sirens.
Yeah. So how do these guys work?
These are your flanking, armor-piercing infantry, but they have again. It's feeding into this idea that they are used to bog down the enemy. That is their main role. They've got ethereal, so they're resistant to physical attacks, but they also have the charmed contact effect. So whenever you're hit in melee by these ladies, you will be reduced. Your melee attack will be reduced essentially. So you're going to be hitting less, and you're going to be dealing less damage. So you can hold up the enemy's elite with this. Just keep them away from magic attacks, because they don't like that. So.
Pretty nasty. So they're kind of like an even more effective hex wraith or Ken wraith almost.
They've got a different purpose for sure. Like the Cairn Wraiths were straight up, I'm here to deal armor-piercing damage.
Yeah.
But this unit is more for bogging down the enemy, reducing its ability to deal damage. So you can embed this unit with, like, say, the Depth Guard or with Prometheans, and they will all receive the benefits of the charmed contact effect.
Nice. Yeah, and it's feeding into that sort of global philosophy of the army.
Yeah, exactly.
Is hold them back so that I can just fill them with bullets.
Just quicksand. That's basically it.
Looking fantastic. Right, sorry, Guy. You can now move over to the other army. You are good. Right, so let's talk about Count Noctilus. I've dropped his name about 400 times now. So, Count Noctilus, once known as Niklaus von Karstein of Sylvania, was drawn to the maelstrom at the heart of the ocean to feast upon its dark magic. He performed a mighty ritual to transport himself, his castle, and all of his undead minions there to the Galleons Graveyard, mystical place where wrecks and hulks of the seas are drawn. Reborn as Count Noctilus, he raised the shattered remains of sunken warships to form the hull of the Bloody Reaver and ride the waves of the mortal seas once more. So this guy is a big bad.
He is a big baddie.
He's got ambition, he's
Oh,
got
yeah.
drive.
Yeah. So as we said, the Galleons Graveyard is a new sort of area on the campaign map in that right slap bang in the middle of the sea. If you imagine, you've got sort of Lustria, Nagaron, Ulthuan, and the Southlands.
Exactly.
Right there, slap bang in the middle, is the Galleons Graveyard.
It gives you a lot of choice in your campaign. I know this is a unit reveal, but in campaign it gives you a lot of choices of where to go. Because you're right in the middle. You can choose where you pirate and how you pirate.
Yeah. So how are we going to be utilizing Noctilus on the battlefield?
He's basically a brick wall. He really...
He's a big boy.
Yeah, he is a big boy. He's a hefty boy. He's thick,
But he's a very durable character. He's got access to magic as well, so he's able to brings some utility to the table, but also just his sheer durability, which is so essential for an undead faction, because once you lose your lord, then that's it, your army starts to crumble, and all that durability means nothing. But yeah, he comes equipped with his trusty halberd, so he can deal some anti-large armor-piercing damage. So he's very effective at dealing with big monsters and cavalry, essentially.
And are we going to see any mount options for him as well?
Yes, he's got a very particular mount option. He's going to come in the Necrofex Colossus. So yeah, he looks magnificent.
He does look very good. Yeah.
And once again, we'll be getting to them very soon, because we are going to be talking about the monsters in here. But here he is,
there
Count
he is.
Noctilus, and he's got a big old spike right coming out of his stomach there, so don't give him a hug.
Yeah. No,
so he's got quite a lot of that, as you were saying, sort of flora and fauna of the deep kind of.
Yeah, I mean, it's really to show that he is essentially like, he is a seafaring madman. Yeah, really just pushing that aesthetic, and again to sort of create some visual difference between him and Hakan.
Yeah.
But he looks fantastic. Again, great silhouette reads, so you know exactly who he is when you see him from a distance in the battlefield. He's very different from any other lord we've got. He just looks great. If you swing right, yeah,
doing that evil.
Yes. Even on his back, he's got lots of seaweed just sticking out. And again, going for the talking about silhouette, the sort of spikes coming out his back are quite reminiscent of that sort of Von Carstein-esque kind of like, again, try and make him look like a vampire, not just a sort of sea monster. But he looks fantastic. Done a great job with him.
Yeah, you can see all of those elements of seaweed coming out there, just bursting out with those horns.
Yeah.
I really love the amount of greens in this.
No, yeah, it's been a lot of fun to sort of work on these guys, but the artists have made a fantastic job.
So we can see quite a lot of heft on this guy. He's got quite a lot of mass.
He's a bruiser. Yeah, he's an absolute bruiser.
Yeah.
High mass, high hit points, high armor. Yeah, you're going to have a difficult time bringing this guy down, especially when he's on top of his mount. So yeah, he's definitely going to be a fun character to play around with.
All right, so let's talk about some of the monsters that we have under the control of the Vampire Coast. We'll start off with the Mongols. Now, these guys are nasty.
They are horrid,
they are horrendous.
They're
We've
great.
got a little sneak peek of them in the trailer.
Yeah,
you can see that horrible hanging jaw.
Yeah, that was fun. I didn't work on these guys, but I sort of did a bit of R&D for them with my leads, and yeah, they were a lot of fun to make. Just looking at sort of very sort of visceral details and making them look as sort of creepy as possible with those elongated fingers and arms. But of course, there's a miniature of these guys. I think the Portugal guys made a miniature of these guys, so we drew a lot of inspiration from that. But just bringing that next level of detail to it, like making him look as visceral as possible and really creepy.
So I think this is the Lord variant as well. So
yes, the hero variant. Yes,
sorry, hero, not Lord. So he is a little bit ethereal as well. You can see that.
So
the effect of him.
Again, just to sort of differentiating him from the base unit, from the standard unit of Mongols. Yeah, we going for again just a bit of a visual difference there, but make him look sort of emissive and ethereal. Was a pretty good shout in order to do that.
I'll tell you what, there's a lot of horrific elements about this guy.
Yeah.
Like he's got the hanging jaw, he's got the huge elongated arms, he's got his guts hanging out. But you know what? The thing that creeps me out the most, it's that greasy mullet.
Really? Yeah, I mean, the mullet is something. Yeah, it's true.
So this is the standard unit variant here.
But again, yeah, you can see the sort of slime shader sort of dripping from his mouth there. They're great. But yeah, I might have to agree with you in that. It's the mullet, isn't it? It's Ebenezer Scrooge-esque, isn't it?
There we go. So you can see that. So the lore behind these guys is quite interesting. So these guys have they've spawned from people who have been driven to cannibalism.
Yeah,
through,
lost in the chaos
severe
waves.
Hunger.
Driven to cannibalism and eating their friends, and I think the guilt gets to them, and then the winds of magic sort of revolve around them and just
corrupt them. Basically.
Corrupt them,
into these things.
The Warhammer world just does not have any mercy.
No, it does not. It does not at all.
This is what happens when you're hungry.
Yeah, you can see with those hanging sort of guts coming out of them. With the, I think the story behind that is literally they're trying to sate their own hunger.
Yeah, essentially,
state of famine. So they're just tearing across the battlefield, trying to find something to feast on, only for it to once again fall out the bottom of their.
Speaking of that, have you seen them move in game?
Yeah.
Because they're terrifying. Because they're just dragging themselves forward. Yeah. It's very sort of Japanese horror.
Yeah.
Like, it's
grudge.
Yeah. Oh, it's horrible, man. It's great. I love it.
If we're lucky, we might get guys to start the battle and just start moving them forward. At the end.
At the end,
so we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Yeah. Before we do that, and I didn't necessarily order these in any particular order, but we're about to go in literally with the big guns here with the Necrofex Colossus.
Oh yeah.
Literally the big guns, because
guns.
he has a big old revolving cannon on his arm. So this guy is very interesting.
Oh yeah, he's great.
He is, yeah, he's just all sorts, basically. He is a ranged monster, so he can blast this cannon whilst moving towards you. It will fire 4 cannonballs at you and just scythe through ranks. But if you engage him in combat, that doesn't stop him. He'll still blast you in combat, so he's a difficult unit to deal with. Essentially what you would have to do is just bring ranged units to sort of counter him, because from a distance and in range, he is going to deal a lot of armor-piercing damage. And also, another particularly interesting aspect of this guy is that when you reduce his health to 50%, he's got this ability called Abandoned Ship.
Yeah, so you can see right in his chest area there, we've
There's
got
a
a lot of limbs.
Oh,
lot of
so
zombies.
going back to the lore for these guys is super interesting as well. Essentially, necromancers will raise ships from the deeps and then essentially sew human fat and flesh in with the shipwreck in order to create a absolute monster.
You can see all that sort of sinew and tendons
yeah, it's hard.
hanging around.
If you zoom right into the hull, there's essentially hundreds of corpses just hanging from the hull there and writhing.
A couple still riding it.
Yeah.
Limbs dangling around.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if you do damage to it, you'll shake some of them loose, and you'll have to fight more zombies. Nice.
I love the way it spins his arm around as well. It reloads his arm.
Yeah, it's like
his
a Gatling gun.
Yeah, it's great. It's so cool.
So
what kind of zombie unit spawns?
It's deckhands, so dual cutlass.
Yeah.
So the very basic type, but it just means that you have to sort of double down on dealing with this guy. You can't just surround him because he's got this escape mechanic essentially.
There's kind of so you saw something similar to that with the Abomination.
The Abomination, yeah,
Skaven.
exactly.
But that was kind of like a 50-50 chance.
It's a 50 chance. This is 100% all the time, and that was the Abomination was when it died. So it was already dead.
Yeah.
This is when this thing is alive. So this gives you at least a chance to like evacuate from combat or use them to screen from missiles or whatever you want. So he's an interesting chap.
It's abandoned ship in a sense.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Very aptly named. So these guys have quite a long range, so you can use them almost like you cycle with that long range artillery, and then they're going to be more than capable in hand combat as well.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. So coming up next is quite another big boy. We've got the rotting Leviathan here. So we've got quite a few interesting monsters under our belt, but this guy is probably my favourite.
Yeah, I think this is going to be the fan favourite for these guys. I love them so much. They're great. We had a lot of fun, sort of, again. So in the lore, these guys exist in the lore, but there's no mini for them.
Right.
So we had a bit of fun kind of deciding what we want to do with them.
Love his face.
Yeah, I love it. So we went for a sort of traditional red crab head, but then give him a sort of hermit crab body, just to make him look more visually interesting.
Yeah.
So you can see he's got the hull of a ship as a home. Nice. And hermit crabs are the cutest crabs, but this guy is anything but cute. He's a nasty boy.
You know, I would actually dispute that.
Really?
Have you ever heard of fiddler crabs?
No, I've not heard of fiddler crabs.
No, there's a little tiny one. He's got one tiny arm and one massive arm.
Okay, sure.
And they wave at each other.
That's adorable.
That's
Okay.
pretty cute.
That is pretty cute.
Getting back to hermit crabs, my favourite thing about his ship shell is not only is it all sort of moving independently, but if you go right up to the top, you can see that there's a guy in the crow's nest.
Yeah,
there's
a guy in the crow's nest there.
Well.
Worst
I
job
love
in
him.
the whole lot.
He must. If he was alive, he would be vomiting constantly.
God, yeah.
The amount of times he's getting flung around.
Their mouths are great as well. Like, so we've actually managed to animate the mouths, and you can see all the little crab teeth, like moving.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah, there we go.
There he is. Love that little roar at the
I
screen
know.
there.
Oh, they're great.
Oh, they just look fantastic. So what kind of role are these guys going to fill on the battlefield?
Not too surprising here, this guy is your line breaker.
Nice.
We're sort of playing off of that hermit crab sort of imagery of that sort of defensive, very sort of tanky nature, to just give him lots of hit points, lots of mass, lots of armor, just to keep him in the fight for a long time.
Yeah.
So you want to throw him into your enemy's missile lines. You want to throw them into their elite infantry because he won't do a ton of damage compared to other monsters, but he will keep them busy for a long, long time. Again, you're feeding into that whole sort of keeping them in place, bogging them down, and letting your guns do the work.
Yeah.
So yeah, he is avoid armor-piercing missiles, obviously, but definitely.
It's difficult when you're that big, isn't it?
Yeah, I know, right?
He's surprisingly fast, so.
So we have two smaller variants as well of this guy.
Yeah.
His little brothers that he brings.
He's wee friends.
Yeah.
So not only the Rotting Leviathan, but the Rotting Prometheans will be under your control as well. And there's two variants for these guys. So we've got the standard ones, and we've also got one with a gunnery mob sat on top of it as
The
well.
cowboy variant. Yeah.
Exactly, the cowboy variant. So we're going to be looking at the standard variant here. This is the Rotting Prometheans. They are more of a group of units as opposed to large monsters. So how are these guys looking?
From a design perspective, these guys were designed as the ultimate sort of falling down at the Vampire Coast. These guys they've got charge defense versus large, so they're able to sort of intercept those cavalry charges, intercept those monster charges, and then just keep them in place. Because again, they've got that shell, they've got that armored carapace. They're able to take a lot of punishment and also not be pushed back. Because whilst you've got a lot of fodder in the zombies are like very easy to batter
flung around. Yeah.
So say you've got a necrosphinx going on. You can put these guys at the front and they will just absorb that charge. You can keep them away from your artillery and your guns and all sorts. They also have armor piercing attacks as well with their little pincers, so they're not like completely harmless.
Put an elastic band around it.
So this is the gunnery mob variant as well. Are they holding hand cannons? Oh my god.
So whilst they're holding you in place, these guys will be sitting on top blasting you with shotguns. So yeah, this is the more expensive, more elite variant. So if you're chasing something down, you can use that as well. They're just very good at keeping the opponent down and sort of keeping them on distance.
And these guys are barnacle sick down.
Oh god, yeah. Look at them. Yeah, they are covered in it. But I mean, again, in the lore, these guys essentially live on the ocean floor for hundreds of years and only rarely emerge. And they have done so, I guess, at the bidding of the vampire lords, coming up to do their bidding and fight in their horrible, horrible armies. But again, yeah, look at their face. They're so cute.
Is that a skull on the back?
Yeah, it's a big sort of creature skull. So essentially, it's just found it and used it as a little home for itself.
Yes.
But yeah,
I like the. So are these guys undead or are they living creatures?
I think they're essentially like living creatures, but they're called to do the bidding of the vampire lords.
Well, there we go. So we're going to be moving on to some slightly small.
Look at that!
Love that animation. Hey! So we've got two vampire favourites coming back, which are the sort of dog units and the bats units. But these dogs are called Scurvy Dogs, which makes them about 10 times better.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
So these guys have very obvious use, incredibly fast, get round, do a little bit of skirmishing and annoy ranged units.
It's one of your few sort of fast-moving units. Again, they're not going to do much damage, but they're able to just sort of harass and keep your opponent busy and make them think twice about sort of keeping a flank unguarded. So very cheap. Not a throwaway unit, but definitely one that you're not really worried about losing.
Nice. So we won't spend too much time.
Yeah.
But we'll move on to something very, very creepy and horrible looking, which is the animated Hulks. We've just got a little clip of the bats there, as well. Just so you know, just so Tom Hawkins is happy, the fell bats are back.
So you can see some bats.
Fell bats are back.
Yeah,
exactly.
So the animated Hulks are kind of horrendous.
Yeah, sorry guys.
These things are disgusting.
I did so I did these guys as well. They are a lot of fun. So they're essentially just corpses that have been interwoven in a kind of Frankenstein monster kind of way with other sort of bits and bobs like cannons for arms, horrible spiky wooden legs, and again the idea that sea flora and fauna has sort of
infested them.
Infested them. You can see there that one has a fish in its mouth and a tentacle coming out of it.
Octopus tentacle coming out.
So on the cannon arm it's got an actual tentacle wrapping around the arm.
Nice.
Holding it in place. But they are horrible. They were a lot of fun to do. And
I love the anchor arm as well.
Yeah, no, it's great. The anchor arm is one of my favourites actually. Just like, and again covered in barnacles.
Yeah, absolutely covered.
Just
but it's almost held together with rope as well.
Yeah,
like
it's the idea that it's like a corpse that's like again, and not a very elegant way has been Frankenstein monster together.
Caught in a fishing net.
Essentially, yeah. It's any sort of just rubbish that they've found have just like plonked it on and made a monster so that they can essentially try and further their seafaring conquests.
I always love it when a big monstrous unit has things sticking out of it as well.
Oh yeah, you got he's got
so much
swords
big
and arrows,
swords and arrows sticking out of him, just like what?
And there's like barnacles. It's not barnacles, sort of coral growing out of his eye there.
Oh god, is that squid head?
That's a big squid head with
God,
a sort of chaotic squid head with like 5, 6 eyes and rope holding it in place.
Oh, that's
It
horrendous.
takes fun to wink at me.
I think he's got a starfish on his eye as well, that one.
There are definitely on the Necrofex. There are some little starfishes. That
Oh yeah, there are, yeah. Just little treats for players when they zoom in.
So this is kind of like a bloated corpse, and this is one way of using bloated corpses. But
There's
the
another
other
way.
way of using bloated corpses is to bloat them so far that they eventually explode. So
Oh, yeah.
let's talk about
The bloated corpse.
Oh,
Yes.
this
These guys.
This guy, I'm expecting big things from this guy. No pun
And again,
intended.
these guys are great when they animate. Like when they run, it's hilarious because they just
Yeah.
run. It's like a baby chasing a
Yeah.
like.
It does look like one of those like horrible fat like adult-sized babies
Yeah.
you see in like a horrible horror film
Yeah.
or something.
For
Yeah,
sure.
You don't want to see this guy running at you because if he is adopting that charge pose, it tends to mean that you're about 5 seconds away from death. Because when this guy makes contact with you, he will explode and he will just decimate his target.
Yeah, you can take out like an entire unit.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, the idea behind these guys is that they've been in the ocean for so long, they've essentially just expanded with horrible sort of gas inside of them. Like they're just like they've got sort of poisonous gas inside of them, but when they run towards an enemy unit, they just explode, and that's their life cycle.
What a lovely life.
I know, what a great life for those guys.
Right, so we've got one more favourite coming back as well, which
Mhm.
is, of course, the Terror Guys, because it wouldn't be a zombie army without
with barnacles.
with
barnacles,
because
though,
this is the Death Shriek Terror Guys, of
Yes.
course. So this is going to give you one of your very few flying units.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's this can be used as a mount by Loofah Hakan
Nice.
as well, so it's most likely going to be seen in that capacity. But yeah, he's much like his sort of vampire counts, sort of kin. Very good at killing large targets. Very good at sort of dealing armor-piercing damage and just projecting sort of power across the battlefield.
Well, there you go. Fantastic.
Really great as well.
So, which of these monsters do you think? You said the bloated corpse. You were expecting big things from.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
What do you expect to be like one of the most useful things? On the
Useful.
battlefield?
I would say, just from a pragmatic, useful perspective, the Prometheans for
Yeah.
sure, because they just 2 or 3 units of them will just form a wall on your flanks and just allow you to just focus on delivering firepower.
Nice.
Although you can hide your bloated corpses and like kill off a unit of Chaos Warriors,
Yeah.
which in the blink of an eye just delete them. So
How
Delete from the
many bloated corpses could you fit in an army and still be
Oh boy.
oh
Yeah,
still be
that's,
competitive? Do you think?
well,
I think that's the ultimate question.
the
Really.
thing is, right, they're a double-edged sword because if you shoot one of them, they will explode.
Yeah.
And when they explode, they will deal damage to everything around them.
Yeah.
So you could potentially just cause a chain reaction and just kill off your whole army if you
Yeah.
just got a lot of these boys sitting beside
So
each other.
You need a lot of big
So-
old crabs
yeah,
to
so-
soak that damage
Exactly.
up.
I mean, if you see your opponent coming towards you with a bloated corpse, just wait until that bloated corpse just goes into their own ranks, and then just hit it with a cannonball or
Nice.
a spell or something, and then you'll just pop it and kill his own guys.
It's definitely a
So
skill shot.
It's a risk-reward thing.
Yeah.
It really is, because he's not that tough.
Mhm.
So yeah.
All right. So
Oh, there we
as
are.
we
Yeah, there we
promised,
go.
here's
There
that
we go.
horrible lurking movement. Let's get a nice little shot from the front there, guy. I just want to see them like crawling towards us.
Yeah, that's what we want to see.
Tell me about you.
We're on this beautiful map, by the way. I believe this is Galleons Graveyard.
Yes,
You can
it
see
is.
all of
Yes,
those
it is,
wrecked
yeah.
You can
ships
see the
in the
masts
background.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, the environment
God.
team did a great job as well.
The thing about this unit is that they have the stock attribute, so you're not going to see them really until it's too late.
Oh.
So
Yeah, that's not what I want to hear.
Yeah, just
at that.
bursting out of the trees,
Exactly.
and just exploding onto you. Delightful.
and they've got Vanguard deployed, so they might come from an unexpected angle as well.
Yeah,
so.
great, fantastic.
Yeah,
yeah, good
Stealth
stuff.
Tower, yeah, great,
just,
great.
just doesn't get any better, does it? All right, so moving on. So our next, unless there's anything I've forgotten, guys, because there's a very high chance. No, we're all good. We're all good. All right. So moving on to our next lord, we're going to be seeing. Oh, we can actually
There we
see
go.
action as well,
They don't mess around.
leaping around.
Slam.
Huge amounts. Of
Yeah,
damage.
those limbs are creepy as hell.
Yeah,
I don't
they're
like
horrible.
it. Like,
It's the mouth.
Yeah,
it's the mouth.
mouth.
It's also just the length of the forearm and just the way they sort of.
Something
bat.
about bodies that are out of proportion.
Yeah. That's
Um,
very. It's very kind of very creepy.
We're not getting the full picture either because we're missing their like sort of deathly shrieks as well.
Yeah.
So that's still.
Yeah, that's not good. That's not good stream content. So let's not have the shrieks on the stream.
Please don't do that, guy.
So we're moving on to our third legendary lord, and this time it's one that we've actually cooked up ourselves.
Yes.
So this is quite an interesting.
Yeah.
So this is Silostra Diet.
Silostra.
I believe. Yeah. Okay. So legend has it that the sea witch Silostra Diaphyn was once the favourite court singer of the Bretonnian king. Sent on a voyage across the ocean to sing for the Phoenix King, they were hit by a fierce storm. The madam's notes turned to screams of fury as the ship sank, and all aboard drowned. Decades later, a Bretonnian galleon of rotten wood and tattered sails can be seen navigating the seas even in the most savage of storms. It is the Lamprey, the ship of the vengeful spirit Madame Silostra and her crew, the Drowned.
Dun dun dun.
Which is also the name of my new metal band.
Are you looking for any members?
Yeah. I'm looking for people who are undead.
Okay, great. Okay.
Specifically.
Sorry, I
So
can't
if you
help
could kill
that.
yourself and then come back. that
Sure,
would be
sure,
great.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, as we said, Silostra is OC, do not steal.
Yeah, she is our OC. She is our so my lead badge did a fantastic job designing her, and sort of again having a big back and forth with I think the design team and the writers, and just coming up with some lore, and yeah, he did a fantastic job designing her, and she is our first OC, and I think she's great. I think she's going to be a lot of fun to play.
Yeah.
Not only is she completely visually different to any other lords in the Vampire Coast, but she's very unique. Again, visually, just compared to any other lord we have in the game, she is a ghost.
Yes.
Look at her; she's great.
I love the VFX team have done such a good job with her as
Yeah,
well.
the way that she just floats above that lightning cloud
Storm,
is
yeah.
so good. Because it's so thematic. Every part of her design is just sort of like, instantly, even if you don't know any of the lore, you know exactly what kind of person this is.
Oh no, for sure.
You know some of her background, and I love. They were talking about before I even saw the model. They were talking about the fact that her hair is like almost like she's still in the water.
It's all
just
essentially
flowing above her.
that's what we've tried to do. As you can see, it's almost like she's still in the water.
Yeah.
But yeah, as you say, like it's kind of floating around. Nah, she's great.
Is that a big old mirror on her staff?
It is.
You can look at
I
herself.
can't.
Vain.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I can't quite remember the lore behind the reason which has a mirror. But I think it's like she's.
I think she's just in love with herself.
I think she's just in love with herself. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
right,
a little bit.
essentially, and I wrote the introducing for her, which will be coming soon. So essentially, the lore behind her is that she was the sort of most magnificent singer in the old world.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
She was part of the court of the Bretonnian king, and then in like a sort of diplomacy move to try and get the elves more in Bretonnia's favour, they sent over not money or gifts or whatever, but what they truly value, which is like artistic skill.
Sure,
right?
sure.
So they send over their most incredible singer, and they're going to do a fantastic concert. It cannot be late. It's really important. But then,
Yeah, sure.
bad news. All the way halfway across the ocean, over the way to Elf-One, massive storm kicks off, and the captain of the ship is like, we need to go around here, otherwise we are going to die. And she's like, I am not going to be late. I am commandeering this ship.
I'm going to be on stage at 7:30.
Yeah. Picks him up by the throat and chucks him off the boat.
Oh, wow.
Mutinies the ship
Oh.
and says, we are going through this storm to Ulf-One right now.
Oh my god, I didn't know
And
that.
all of the lily-livered crew are like, okay.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
So they are like sailing through this massive maelstrom, which is like turning the ship over and over, like threatening to capsize it. She's at the front, like trying to sing the storm away.
Oh my god,
Because
okay.
she thinks that her voice is so good, she can quell the storm with it. Eventually, of course, they are completely capsized, submerged in water, and she is killed by being drowned under the ocean. So she brings herself back through pure
Which is willpower.
just willpower,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like hatred for the world. Like, how dare you get rid of me?
I was late
before
for
I
my
do
concert. Yeah.
So now she's kind of got this like implied goal that she wants to sink Ulf-One.
Oh,
so
wow,
that she can
okay.
kill the Phoenix King and finally give him the concert. that she
Wow.
wanted to, yeah.
Okay.
So she's a very, very cool character. The writers
Yeah.
have done a fantastic
That's
job with her
that's
backstory.
amazing. Yeah.
As you can see, she is an ethereal spellcaster carry, which is quite a big deal.
She is, yeah. The thing is, though, she's a caster, and her main selling point is the brand new lore of magic, the lore of the deep, which comes with a whole host of new spells,
Yep.
which are brand new. That's her main thing.
Oh, yeah.
But she's a caster, but she's not completely harmless like other casters.
Yeah.
In melee, she doesn't like just swipe with her sword. She's able to call on like a thunder and literally just blast people away.
Nice.
Keep them away from her and sort of just sort of project that area of control. Again, much like the other sort of units in the roster, it's about just sort of controlling the terrain, controlling the battlefield. So
We can see right in the background there, she's actually got an ethereal paladin
Yes.
unit, which she's
Yes.
brought from the grave with her. So
Yep.
this is a special unit that only she can summon. And this is actually, as you can see, it's a Bretonnian paladin using that same model with that ghostly vibes, giving her like a tiny little bit of nuance to her little backup unit.
she inspired a lot of devotion in life, so even more so in death. She can also summon units of Bretonnian cavalry
Yeah.
as well. So she's very unique. She basically gives the Vampire Coast the only access to armored cavalry.
Yeah,
So
So
if you like cavalry, she's probably your lord or lady.
yeah, she's very, very cool. Love her to bits. And we are
Do
going to be
enjoy them.
looking at all of the artillery options
Oh.
that we bring to
Oh, yeah.
the battle. And you can see
Guns.
right back there, there's something sneaking
There's
around
something
in
over
the
there,
corner.
but let's look at these guys first.
Yeah, but the
Yeah.
first one we're going to be looking at is the carronade. So the carronade is, and I think that's a
That's
mortar
the
that we're
mortars
looking at.
there,
the moment,
yeah.
Yeah,
but-
it's markers, yeah.
So the carronade is a bit more sort of
Traditional.
straight arc of
Yeah,
fire,
yeah.
standard cannon that you'd be expecting. You can see some here, literally lifted off a ship. once
Yeah,
again,
it's a cannon of a like an Empire ship essentially. Yeah, again, it's covered in barnacles and
Yep.
seaweed.
There's the sort of little statue with a little gargoyle on top that I love.
Yeah, he's great.
So,
Yeah.
so this is your standard armor-piercing long-range.
This is it.
artillery.
It's much like their sort of Empire cousins. This is for dealing with large armored targets.
Yeah.
Scything through the sort of enemies elite. Although they are cheaper because their accuracy isn't exactly the
Yeah,
greatest.
manned by
because
zombies,
they're
yeah.
manned by
Oh yeah,
zombies.
yep.
But that's a double-edged sword. So the zombies themselves will not run. So they'll crumble, but they won't run. So they're a bit more difficult to deal with
Yeah.
if you're just shooting from a range. You really need to get into combat to just sort of like wash them away.
Yeah, no pun intended.
So to speak, yeah.
There's
Yeah.
lots of puns in this project. It's just we're overboard with them.
Stop. That should be banned.
I'm sorry.
So up next we have the mortar, which we were looking at just before. So the mortar is a bit more of just like the Empire variant,
Yeah.
that nice high arc of fire, so it's got a little bit more versatility.
Although I feel like it sort of performs more synergistically with this faction than with the Empire, because I will get to it in a minute. But the Queen Bess is able to sort of slow and stagger enemy formations with the sheer force of its impact. So you can keep an enemy in place and then just bombard them with these inaccurate projectiles. Because
Nice.
the main disadvantage of the mortar is that it's inaccurate, and once they get close, it's harder to deal with them. So the longer that you can shoot with these things, the better. And Queen Bess will do that for you.
All right, let's stop
Yeah,
teasing.
that's-
Yeah, let's
Yeah,
stop
that's-
teasing. Let's look at
This absolute
Unit.
beast.
absolute unit.
This big girl
She
is
protect.
Queen Bess. She is a one only per game
Yes.
unit. You
Oh,
cannot
yeah.
have more than one of Queen Bess
Yep.
because she technically counts as a regiment of renown. In the way
It
that
does,
works,
it
yeah.
does, yes. But this is a pilfered Hellhammer cannon from an Empire ship, like one of very few ever created. This fires much like a mortar in a large arc, so you can't hide behind terrain from this girl. She'll find you, and she'll drop incendiary ammunition down on your head. She's able to. She comes equipped with the monstrous impact contact effect. So when you get hit by this gun, you're gonna be reduced. Your speed's gonna be reduced drastically.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can really sort of like pick a target and just be like, you're gonna have a bad day.
Yeah.
Just,
She is ridiculous. She is the biggest unit in the game.
Can I just
I'm
give
pretty
a
sure.
give a shout out to that guy who's just like dead.
Yeah.
He just stood on the crow's nest and then someone forgot to revive him.
legitimate corpse.
Someone left me
Yeah.
up here. There's no way to get down.
Oh my god,
Poor
there's
guy.
so many fantastic units. So yeah, as you said, this is probably the biggest artillery piece in the game. Probably will be for a little while. His neck's on backwards as
He's
well.
a zombie.
It's
you know?
fine. He's fine. He's having a nap. Leave him alone. So this is definitely going to be quite expensive to bring.
Yes.
Yeah.
The most expensive piece of artillery in the game, obviously. Just is, yeah. This is the thing that you build your castle around. This is why you have all those slowing units. This is why you have all those sort of tar pits and sort of speed bumps, because you want to deal more damage with her.
Yeah, you can tell that the artist who designed this had a fun job. As well.
Yeah, they really did. We put one of our best hard surface artists on this one, and they just had they just did a fantastic job. Like really selling the idea that it's essentially a looted cannon. Like as we said earlier, it's a Hellfire cannon from an Empire ship, and I think the lore behind Queen Bess is that it's constantly being repaired, like just constantly, because it's just falling apart. But Loofah Hakan loves it. He loves her so much, and so he just is constantly just like. It's like his pet DIY project.
That car he keeps picking up.
It's that car. You've had that car for 10 years. It's still not road ready. But yeah, it looks great. Again, barnacles everywhere. Really selling the idea that it is weathered and it is really hodgepodge.
Yeah, we saw a few people in I think it was in Reddit or in the YouTube comments. They sort of picked up that the pirate zombies will actually rotate.
There's a little wheel there, and actually it does
just under that ship mark there.
Yeah, the animators have like taken inspiration from like sort of real life like howitzers and how they fire that recoil. So they've also added this sort of like supplementary crew as well, just to give you that sort of full sort of siege cannon experience.
Glued on.
Yeah, my favorite thing is actually like the wheel from like a galleon. Like it's not just like any sort of like industrial wheel or something. It's really cool.
I like to think that one of Harkin's personalities is like a real gearhead.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
But it's just like this one personality when it takes control is like, I want this cannon.
Yeah, you can see that it needs quite a lot of zombies to push it along as well. There's a big old group of them behind pushing it along. So. One thing that's going to be very interesting for the Vampire Coast is the specific hero that they're going to be bringing, which is the Gunnery Wight. So this is quite an important unit, especially obviously for someone with so much firepower and with that special bonus that you're talking about as well.
He's quite a key unit in the roster for sure. Like we've introduced the ability to actually replenish unit ammunition. So again, with being so heavily reliant on guns and artillery, this is crucial for the Vampire Coast. So yeah, you keep him in the center of your line, and he'll just keep your men well supplied. And this is also important because they have the extra powder ability. So if your units are above a certain threshold of ammunition, you'll be dealing more damage. So it's a case of like just knowing how to use these special abilities, these units. You'll create a gun line that's just very, very efficient, very sort of like maximized for dealing armor-piercing damage at range. So, yeah, he can also be mounted on a rotting Promethean.
Nice.
Yeah, Promethean. Yeah. So he's quite mobile, so he can get to where he needs to be and replenish ammunition. Or like,
and you could also like bring a couple and just sort of have their area effects.
Yeah, absolutely.
Piled onto one or the other side of the battle. So those guys are going to be very, very important, especially in multiplayer.
For sure, like we actively sort of reduced the ammunition levels of certain units, just to encourage people to like take these guys because it's just more useful that way.
Nice. All right, so we've got one legendary lord left, and this one is quite interesting as well because she's not actually undead.
She's not.
Yeah, so this is Aranessa Saltspite, who I've heard described as the Little Mermaid of the Warhammer world.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, that's one way of putting it. She does look quite striking. She has sawfish. Like I think they're not noses. What's the word I'm looking for? Like they're
beaks.
Beaks.
I guess. As peg
noses.
Legs, right?
Bills.
Fish noses.
Yeah, she has parts of sawfish anatomy for legs, and so she's very striking. But I think she's going to be awesome. She does use undead units, but it's more like it's a means to an end for her because she wants. I think she wants to sort of essentially defeat the other vampires.
Yeah.
So it's a means to an end for her, but she uses them reluctantly.
Yeah. So a little lore behind her. So Aranessa Saltspite, Queen of the Tides. Aranessa Saltspite is one of the most respected and feared pirate captains of Saltosa. Some say she is the daughter of the sea god Manan himself, and he whispers to her to take control of all of the world's oceans. Now many a sea-bloated corpse washes up against the swordfish's hull, and so the vampire first mates breathe unlife into them, creating a vast rabble of loyal crew ready to serve at Captain Saltspite's command. As part of the living realm rather than the undead, she commands a human pirate crew known as the Saltosa Free Company, otherwise reluctantly sharing control of the denizens of the Vampire Coast. So, as we said, here you can see all of those weird elements around her. She's got scales, she's got those swordfish peg legs, and also a shark jaw, I think?
Yeah, it's like the mandible of some sort of sea creature. She's using it just as like a an art.
Piece,
Yeah,
like a headdress almost.
like a headdress, essentially. Just makes her look badass.
Because she's a spearfisher, so she probably caught whatever that is.
So,
yes.
yeah,
No.
so
Yeah, for sure.
Very, very interesting visual design.
Yeah. No, for sure. I mean, I think she's very unique, especially compared to the other Vampire Coast
Yeah, she
lords.
really sticks out. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I try to think of a pun there, with like, but I can't.
Fish sticks out.
Yeah. There we go. We got there. That's the one. Yeah, we got it. No, but she looks great. I think I'll probably play her first when we're released, because she's awesome. Really.
I think she's like our first like mutant character, because she's an actual mutant. That's the
Yeah,
thing.
she is. I mean, given the all her just crazy limbs. She's mutated. Well, I guess not when you think about the Chaos Lords. Like, I'm not sure if Throg is a mutated.
So yeah, I guess so. Yeah, to an extent.
Like, yeah.
So she was actually born in North skin, I believe. And then
Is that right?
Yeah. So she was sort of rejected by her clan because of her mutation.
Oh.
Which were probably caused by the Chaos Lords.
Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
imagine
But
so. Yeah.
The superstitious Norskins were like, oh, okay, this is some kind of horrendous sea creature, and we need to cast her out. So she just used that as an opportunity to be like, right, well,
It's
I'm
an
just going to murder all of you then, I guess.
Yeah,
and then
I guess so.
It's
went
an
off to
empowering story, you know.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah.
Heartwarming.
Yeah, it's very Disney, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I believe she had a tail as well. Which
Yeah,
was
she did.
cut
Yeah,
from her,
she.
right?
I may be wrong. I think she cut them off herself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that must be why she has peg legs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, because
Yeah.
she used to have a mermaid tail, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So she cut them off herself, and essentially just put a peg leg on, and then the saw of a sawfish, and here she is now.
Yeah.
You think it would like slow her down, but it really doesn't.
Oh,
Like,
she's
it-
nimble, right?
Oh god, yeah, she's like a Ninja Turtle.
Yeah, when you see her like move, like some of the movement, like when I was working with the animators, they were saying like they took a lot of inspiration from like the sort of like a sort of replacement legs,
Yeah.
the sort of springs that they use for sprinting.
Yeah, with like the
that's-
the Oscar-
curved
yeah,
hooks,
I don't know what they call them, but like they're
Like the blades.
Yeah,
almost,
blades.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
the word,
yeah.
But yeah, she's been crewing ships for like years, so she's very adept at sort of like darting around, sort of spinning, using her spear as like a means to sort of travel and get around. So she's a sight to see when she's on the move.
She's very unique.
Absolutely. Speaking of unique, we actually have a unique unit which she is going to be able to bring to the field, and it's completely unique to her faction. These guys are the Saltos Free Company, as we briefly mentioned in the little intro. So, as we said, she is a living lord, which means that she does have living pirates under her control, and you can see this lovely sort of like Empire-themed unit here.
These chaps from Sartosa are they were designed to sort of fulfill a specific niche. They come up with these boarding axes essentially, and that allows them to do armor-piercing damage to the enemy, and it basically allows RNSO to gain access to armor-piercing infantry very early in the game, compared to any other Sarton lord. So yeah, you're able to get these cheap armor-piercing units very quickly. And so if you're fighting, say, Ios, or if you're fighting the Lizardmen, you're able to cut through that sort of source hide, whereas the deckhands are obviously struggle with the normal non-armor-piercing attacks.
And they've got that lovely yellow cape, which, of course, is the best colour in the world. So, so yeah, they're fantastic. Yeah.
Alright, I guess.
Let's get an artist opinion on this.
Best colour, let's go.
So you might have noticed in the background we have a few regiments right now. We're not quite ready to show those off yet, but we thought we'd give you a little sneak peek. There's a few things. Maybe you can get an idea of what the kind of roles they might have after the visual designs. But just a little sneak peek. Sneak peek. We'll have a few more bits to talk about in the future. Of course, we haven't delved into the magic as well. So the only lord that we haven't touched on here as well, we have the generic lords. We'll be able to bring in the vampire admirals. Yeah, so those guys aren't cut off. They'll be able to bring their own lords of magic to the battlefield. So they'll have death, vampire, and the lord of death teams. Yeah. So there we go. So, plenty more information to come. Thank you very much for watching. If you would like to stay tuned for more info, make sure to follow us on all of our social media channels. I'd like to say a big thank you to Gary and Danny for joining me.
No worries.
And for making me the only non-Scottish person on the channel.
Yes, great.
We're going to have some more things coming up in the future. Tomorrow we're going to have some Tabletop Tuesdays running, where we're going to be playing Tiny Epic Zombies, because we thought that was, it's zombies and guns, so surely that's like a perfect game to play. On Wednesday we're also going to be doing a little bit of gameplay reveal of maybe some of the free content that will be coming with the Vampire Coast?
There's a
Cool.
Who knows? You have to stay tuned, won't you? And of course, we should mention that this weekend, coming up, is the Halloween edition of The Everchosen. That's right, it's back,
Ooh.
baby. It's time for some multiplayer action, and guess what?
What?
The Vampire Coast is about to be unleashed.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Yep.
Are you scared?
Yeah, it's the first time that people will get to sort of like see it in action. So yeah, I'll be there.
Yeah.
I'll be there.
Yeah,
first
I'll
thing,
be there.
so-
I'll be there. We'll all be there, apart from Danny.
Yeah,
Danny,
I
not
won't be
invited,
there.
I'm afraid.
No. That's fine. I'll be there in spirit.
Yeah,
That's fine. Yeah, it's all good. Sit and chat. And
Yeah.
Doesn't the art look great?
Why wasn't
guys?
I invited?
Thanks very much for watching, everyone. This has been Rally Point. We will see you soon. And remember, see you soon.